3 years ago, I made a promise to myself that I was going to end my life. I lived my full life being the underdog, never being good at anything, never being respected. I was bullied in school. I was fucking malnourished. I felt like I had no hope. I didn't believe in myself. I never believed I would even be able to get a job. I never believed I would be able to build some muscle. I never believed that I would ever be able to have any physical presence or even be respected by anyone. I never thought that any woman would ever be attracted to me, and my belief systems were so low. Fast forward 3 years, and I'm currently an online fitness and mindset coach with multiple clients that I'm changing their lives. I'm in the best shape of my fucking life. Everyone treats me with respect. Everyone wants to be in my circle. People take advice from me. People compliment me on how well I speak, how well I articulate my thoughts, and the knowledge that I have for my age. And the only reason that I was able to completely change my life, I like to say reborn. Anyone that knows me from my hometown knows that I was one of the biggest losers in that whole fucking town. No joke. If you were to ask anyone in that town, they would vouch for me. And people are so shocked at how I changed my life around. People want to know, how did I change my life around? And see, to be honest, it's a lot fucking easier than you think. And let me give you some perspective. So, what my day consisted of, right? I would wake up around 12 in the afternoon. First thing that I would do is lie in bed, roll a joint, so smoke weed in my bed. First thing that I would do, and then I wouldn't even go downstairs. The first thing that I would do is turn on my Xbox, check my phone to see if anyone messaged me to buy weed, and I would play my Xbox. If anyone had messaged me to buy weed, I would I would go out and meet them before I played my first game of Apex Legends. So I was extremely addicted to Apex Legends. I would go out and meet this person, get my money, sell them the weed, come back home and continue playing Apex. And throughout every match, what I would do, I would check my phone and I would see if I had any sales, which I hardly got any sales, literally, because no one even respected me enough to buy big bits off of me. Like, by any means, it wasn't the complete worst, but it was pretty fucking bad. It was pretty fucking shit. I was never going anywhere because of my insecure ego. I started arguments with everyone over messages, and then when I'd see them in person, I didn't want to fight them, so I would pull out a knife. I was a fucking pussy. I would then smoke another joint in the afternoon. I was too anxious to go to my local shop, which was literally 2 minutes from my house, without a fucking weapon. Every single time I left my house, I carried a weapon because I was terrified, because I was a pussy, because I'd started so many problems with everyone. There was a point where I got chased off of 20, 30 people. literally because I'd fucking ruffled so many feathers, and I was just a little wannabe gangster. And I wasn't going anywhere in life. From what you could say, what you could see from the outside perspective, I wasn't going anywhere. The only way that I was headed was death, jail, or suicide. And I genuinely believe that it would have been suicide. I genuinely do believe that. And it's incredible. It's amazing looking back on it. And in fact, I'm going off track here. Let me tell you about the rest of my day. So, my little brother would come into my room. I'd tell him to fuck off because I was a fucking selfish, negative, horrible person because I hated myself and I reflected my own self-hatred and my own self-insecurities onto other people, and I didn't know what I was doing. I treated my mum with absolute disrespect. My whole life I'd been so polite, so nice, so loving to my mum. But see, as soon as I hit as soon as I hit high school, in fact, as soon as I hit later years in primary, which is, whether you're American or not, it's the school before high school, right? Even in primary school, primary 5, 6, 7, I started being horrible to my mum because I was being bullied and I wanted to wear the designer clothes, I wanted to wear X, Y, and Z. My mum couldn't afford that shit. I was wearing the cheap shoes. I was wearing the fake clothes. I was wearing the cheap clothes. And I was always defined by what I wore. And I was always that small, really, really small, skinny kid with an earring, with a quiff, with fucking tiny size 2 feet when I was like 11 or 12, I was 4'11" with size 2 feet. And honestly, life was so horrible for me. I started smoking at 11 years old. That's when I started smoking weed. Stopped at 16. That's when I started smoking weed. And I keep going off track here, but the rest of my day would consist of, I would watch porn twice per day, right? And I wanted to leave that until I was talking for a few minutes for the people that are genuinely engaged, and hopefully no women are watching this video. But I watch porn twice a day, sometimes maybe even 3 times a day. And I was addicted to porn. I was addicted to video games. I would only eat once or twice a day, and it would usually be like a fucking chocolate bar in the afternoon. And then at night time, it would be like half of the food that my mum made me. I didn't even like the taste of meat. I hated the taste of meat. See when I first tried steak, I was disgusted. See when I was 16, 3 years ago, I smelt the smell of steak, and I thought that it smelled like, I don't even remember, but I hated the smell. I said to my dad, I was like, Dad, that smells fucking disgusting. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, nah, it smells horrible, what the fuck is that? And then usually at night time, I would actually sit and cry. At night time, I would I would sit and cry myself to sleep, genuinely, like, no joke. I would cry myself to sleep, and what I would say, I'd be like, oh, I wish I could just be happy. That's what I used to say. I used to cry myself to sleep and say, I wish I could just be happy. I wish people would just respect me. I wish I wasn't so skinny. I wish I wasn't depressed. Because I thought that wishing and waiting for a purpose to happen was what I was supposed to be doing. And then I said to myself, you know what? If I don't have a purpose by the time I'm 16, I'm gonna funnily enough, when I turned 16, thanks to God, I got kicked out. I went into a homeless unit. And I had two options, two life choices, right? In fact, three. I could either kill myself, I could either follow in the footsteps of the people in the homeless unit, which, by the way, was in a town, and I still live in this town, was in a town that's about a 3-hour drive from where I'm from. Completely different accents, completely different culture, completely different people. Didn't know a single fucking person, right? Was so anxious, couldn't even hold a fucking conversation, couldn't hold eye contact. My whole life, I was, and it's fucking crazy to say this because sometimes I forget this. In fact, all the time I forget this. If I was talking to like a couple of people at once, my hands would be sweaty, my heart would be pounding, I'd be shaking, I'd be so self-conscious about the way that I sounded, the way that I talked, the way that I looked, the way that I was standing, the way that my hair was sitting. Literally, so fucking insecure. And I had the choice. Do I change my life? Do I kill myself? Or do I go down the same route as these drug addicts that are in my homeless unit? And I was hanging about with the drug addicts a little bit, I won't lie. And they were taking they were taking drugs and stuff. I refused. I smoked weed, but I refused to take drugs. And when they were all doing that, it just clicked in my head. I was like, I can be so much fucking better than this. Why the fuck am I waiting for something to happen? Why the fuck am I not going out and chasing my fucking purpose? Why am I not pursuing a fucking better life? And I really came to terms with that. And I really fucking realised that it was time for me to take charge. It was time for me to change my fucking life. And when I realised that, the first fucking thing that I done was get a gym membership. I couldn't even fucking afford it. Literally. I was on fucking universal credit, like £280 a fucking month. I couldn't afford a gym membership, but you know what? I went and fucking bought one. And from that day forward, I changed my life. And to the thanks, to the help from God, I was reborn. That day that I walked into the gym and I was shitting myself. I was so anxious. I didn't even want to fucking be there. But I was like, no, you know what? I am determined to be respected. I am determined to stop being fucking invisible. My whole fucking life, up until about 6 months ago,